After creating a CDS account and choosing the best stockbroker of your choice, I would like to show you how you can sign in into the stock market, which is the Nairobi Securities Exchange, buy shares and also sell shares in the stock market. What you need to do, you just need to log in into the stock market using your stockbroker website and also using your credentials. You need to sign in. When you sign in, you'll be taken into the Nairobi Securities Exchange where the trading is taking place. So in the Nairobi Securities Exchange, you'll be attracted by this dashboard where you have the notification alert. Under the notification alert, you have the security alert where you can get some alert about the security. You also have different reports where you can view your statement. The portfolio valuation, these are the stocks which you have bought. So when you buy two or more stocks, you get a portfolio which you need to be managed. You also need to have, you also can be able to see your stock holding, your contract, the order report, the today's position, also your available funds, and also you can be able to transfer funds from stock market to your M-Pesa. So this has been made easier. So what I need to take you through is the nitty-gritties which you need to notice in the stock market. So in the stock markets, the companies which are in the stock market are represented by symbols. So you can see the ABSA, AMAC, the BAT, the British American Tobacco Industry. So all these companies have been abbreviated in symbols. We also have some nitty-gritties here which you need to notice. You can notice that we have some arrows here which usually have a meaning. When an arrow is pointing upward, which is in green, it usually show a bullish market, where the buyers actually are exceeding the number of sellers. That means that this is a gainer in the market. Whereas when we get us in the stock market that the arrow is reddish in color, this is a bearish market, where it means that the sellers are technically exceeding the buyer, and you notice that it usually shows a loser in the market. So that is how technically we can be able to interpret it in layman's language. So that is what it is representing here, where you see the reddish and the grayish color. The equal, it usually shows some level of neutrality in the market, where there is no significant change when it comes to the number of buyers and the sellers in the market. So what you can be able to see in order to be able to visualize this concept, you can be able to see the offer price. Offer price, which is here, is of 28.75, and the bid price, it is of 28.80. So this is the offer price and this is the bid price. So you can be able to see that the offer price is greater than the bid price. When we come to the second company, you can notice that the offer price is 115 and the bid price is 110, which also shows the same thing. But you can notice in this market, there are a lot of sellers in the market as compared to the number of buyers, and that is why this arrow is pointing downward, showing a loser in the market. So this is how we usually do the interpretation. So I wanted to make this video as simple as possible. So when you get into the stock market, in case you want to buy some shares in the stock market, what do? So you can notice that in the stock market, shares have different valuation, and in order to buy shares, what you usually inform us is how the shares has been performing in the market, and also you can be able to view the market capitalization of the company which has been listed in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. You can see that ABSA has not shown their market capitalization, but you can see when we come into this company, we can be able to see their market capitalization. So also, when it comes to the bid quantity, you can see here we have a bid quantity of 153 where we have BAT, and in this bid quantity, it is represented in green, showing that though it is a loser in the market, but it is showing us that this bid quantity, the number of buyers in the market, is technically exceeding the number of sellers who are willing to sell BAT shares in the market. When we come to the BOC, it means that the bid quantity is represented in red, which symbolizes that there are a lot of sellers who are willing to sell than there are buyers in the market who are willing to buy these shares. So this is how we do this simple interpretation. So in this case, I would like us to do a simple buy here of Everready Limited, which is here. So we can buy their shares since they are technically low, by the way, in their price. You can be able to buy them. So this is the Everready East African Limited. So you can notice that the offer price for Everready, the offer price of Everready is 1.4, but the bid price, people are bidding at 1.13. So I will bid at actually that the price averaging to 1.3. So this is the offer which has been given, and this is what the bid price, what people are bidding. So I can bid at that price and see, or slightly above that price, like 1.135. So let us try and see. So let me come here and choose to buy. So let me come here and choose to buy. We want to buy Everready, so I'll come here. They'll choose to buy at 1.35. Maybe I can choose 1.3, but I got 1.2. Then the quantity which I want to buy a quantity of 100 shares at a market cap. So then you can, in case you want to do long-term trading, you can choose at delivery, but in case you are a daily trader, you can choose intraday trading. Then after I'm sure I have done everything correctly, I can choose to buy. So I need technically to have around 106 in my account, so I can just confirm and buy. So the order has been placed. So that is how we technically buy shares in Nairobi Securities Exchange. So also the selling of shares is technically one and the same thing. So we can come here where we have sell. So when I want to sell, maybe I can take my ABSA amount. Then I can come here and technically choose the number of the quantity which I want to sell. Maybe it is 100. I can choose the price which I want to sell at. Let me show you. Let me reset here. So I need to choose the company, which is ABSA. Then I need to choose the quantity is 100. Let me come to where we have ABSA and then do it so simply rather than that way. Let me come to where we have ABSA. So I can come to where we have ABSA and choose to sell. So when you are selling, you need to check the last price, which was 28.50. You also need to check the bid quantity is this one, though it is not competitively being bidded, because you can see it is in red, showing that the number of buyers who are in the market, they are actually not exceeding the number of sellers, so it is not a good picture. So we can come here and technically you can see the day opening was 29. So the offer price is 28.75 and the bid price is 28.50. So I can choose to sell at a price of 29 per share. So I'll come here and choose to sell. Then I need to select the quantity. I can choose to set a quantity of 10 of 100. Then I can choose the selling price as 29. Then I can choose it to sell within the day. If it doesn't sell within the day, it will just lapse. Then I will just click sell. Then you can see when I sell this share, I will be able, you can see the brokerage fee will be of 51. Then the statutory charges of 19.01 and the next consideration, this is the amount which I will see of 28.29. I can confirm and the order has been placed and it will be playing in the market. Though you can see that there is no competitive bidding today in the market. So you can see that there is competitive bidding, but you can notice that the number of, like in case of these ABSA, you can be able to notice that the number of buyers, they are not significantly high as compared to the number of the sellers who are selling the stock in the market. Actually, let's know a lot of people are offloading in the market since the stock market is not performing quite well. But this is the best time to buy stocks in the stock market, because we are something we call at a dip. So when we have the cyclical variation and the curve is downward, this is the best time to buy, and you'll be able to leverage when the shares will start rising, because there comes a time when these shares will be unaffordable actually. But in case you need any assistance on how you can buy and sell shares in the Nairobi Securities Exchange, you can technically get me using the contact in the description, and also how you can be able to open a CDS account, and also notice the best kind of the stock brokers in the Kenyan market. You can be able to reach me, and we can be able to talk and take you through how you can be able to buy these shares and an understandable language you can be able to understand, which is technical and non-technical, and it is direct to the point. So you can be able also to view the order reports, which are here. You can be able to visualize your order reports from this section. So this is just an ERP, so it's just a very good interactive dashboard in the stock market, where you can be able even to view the report of how you are selling in the market. So basically, this is what I needed to share with you regarding buying of stock in the stock market, and what you technically need to know. So I have been logged out because my session had expired. So in case you have any query, you can post it in the comments.